What is the meaning and significance behind the symbol of Shiva's trident? I'm going to tell you right now. Hi everybody, Jason here. Now the symbol of Shiva's trident is often confused, and a lot of people think it's actually a weapon when we don't understand the actual significance of the symbology behind Shiva. Not just the trident, but all of the other symbols that are involved with Shiva and Shaivism in general. But we're going to concentrate today on the trident. Now the trident essentially means the Tripura. Now the Tripura means the three worlds. And there's a few ways to understand this. You can understand this as the me, mine, or not mine, or you could understand it as the natural world, cultural world, and personal world. So these three worlds are what the trident is about. And we're going to look at the me, mine, and not mine perspective. These three worlds, the me, mine, and not mine, we all possess. It all builds a framework in our mind that we experience reality through. So first, what is the me? The me is essentially just the physical body and our mind. So just the me at its rawest nature, so the physical world. So what is the mine aspect? So mine is all of the property we have, the knowledge we've accumulated in life that we believe is who we are and what we have. It's like an extension of who we are. So this includes family and status and essentially all of the wealth that we accumulate and this idea of ownership, right? Like I mentioned with property. So the mine is essentially to do with this form of extending ourselves and expanding ourselves into the world, and where we have influence, and so we have ownership, and we say we own this, and we claim all of these things, and we start to pretend we own this knowledge as if it's ours, and so forth. So the mind category has a lot to do with ownership and control, and you can see why this aspect of the three worlds can cause a lot of trouble in the world. And the not mind category is pretty simple to understand. It's everything that we don't own. It's everything that is not ours. And it's everything that we have no authority over or control. And so that's what the not mine is. So what another person has, or the knowledge someone else has that is not ours at that moment, that is the not mine category. These three worlds are what we would call Brahmanda in Sanskrit. Now, the three worlds build this idea and this conceptual framework that builds this construction in our mind, which we would call Maya, like the illusion of reality, like we're seeing reality through the Maya reality. And that's essentially what Brahmanda is. It's the construction of this cultural, conceptual framework we build in our mind. And that's why, particularly in Shaivism, the whole focus in Shaivism is to deconstruct Maya, to destroy Maya essentially and see reality as it truly is. But that's what these three worlds build. These three worlds contribute to this idea of Brahmanda. That's what the three worlds are. Another meaning for the trident is the three bodies. Now the three bodies are the Stula Sharira, physical body, Sukshma Sharira, the conscious mind full of opinions, and the Karana Sharira, the unconscious mind full of impressions. Now it sounds very similar to samskaras, right? Where we take in the impressions and the subliminal imprints into our subconscious, and we unconsciously act from that place. That's essentially what the Karana Sharira actually is. And so the staff of Shiva on the trident is actually the linga beyond Maya. It's the staff of wisdom, right? So you have the three worlds at the top and you have the staff. The staff is the linga, the wisdom that destroys or sees through Maya. It's beyond Maya. So the idea here is that with the staff of wisdom, Shiva destroys these three worlds. And that is essentially what the sacred mark of Shiva is. The three lines of ash, horizontal lines on the forehead. Now that is the sacred mark of Tripundra, and that is a hallmark of Shaivism and Shiva devotees, or sadhus and yogis that follow the Shiva path. Now there's a story in mythology about how Shiva destroys the Tripura. Now it's through the idea of the three flying cities. And Devdutt Patnaik actually explains this story beautifully, which I will read for you right now. The story goes that 3 demons created 3 flying cities and spread havoc in the cosmos. So the gods called upon Shiva to destroy these cities. The cities could be destroyed only with a single arrow. And so one had to wait for the right moment when the 3 cities were perfectly aligned in a straight line. Shiva decided to chase the 3 cities until this moment arrived. The earth was Shiva's chariot. The sun and the moon were its wheels. The 4 Vedas were its horses. Brahma himself was the charioteer. Mount Meru, axis of space, was the shaft of Shiva's bow, while Shesha, the serpent of time, was the string. Vishnu was the arrow. Shiva chased the 3 cities and waited for the moment when the cities were aligned. At that moment, he realized the arrow and destroyed all 3 cities in an instant. He collected the ashes of these 3 cities and smeared them across his forehead as 3 parallel lines. This was the Tripundra, the sacred mark of Shiva. It communicated to the world that the body, the property, and the rest of nature, the 3 worlds created by Brahma, are mortal. When they are destroyed, what remains is Purusha, the soul. Now in this quote, don't confuse Brahma with Brahman. Brahma here being the creative principle. And also when Devdutt says Purusha, we can also explain this as Atman, undifferentiated consciousness. We're using different terminology here from especially Samkhya Yoga compared to Vedanta, which both actually mean this undifferentiated state of pure awareness. And so that's what remains after the 3 cities are destroyed. And we use the ash to symbolize that destruction within ourselves, right? So we destroyed the 3 cities, or the 3 worlds within ourselves, the me, the mine, and the not mine. So we don't see reality in duality anymore. We see from a non-dual state. We see everything essentially in its pure unity, in its oneness. So ash here is symbolic because ash is what survives after all matter is destroyed. So when matter is destroyed or burnt to the ground, then what is left is ash. And likewise, when the 3 worlds are destroyed, all that is left is ash, but ash here symbolizes the Atman within all of us. Because the Atman was never born, can never die. And so ash represents the Atman. So Shiva essentially destroys these 3 worlds with the 3rd eye of wisdom. So that's what we need to do. We also need to destroy our 3 worlds with our own 3rd eye of wisdom. And we all have this so-called 3rd eye, which is the perception of reality from the undifferentiated state of consciousness that can see into the illusion of duality. But we all forget we all have this 3rd eye of wisdom because we construct this subjective reality within our mind to cope with an objective reality that we have no control or influence over. So we create this subjective view of the world in our mind to protect ourselves essentially from the pitfalls and all of the obstacles that we encounter in our life. In the end, the wisdom of the Trident symbolizes that we must become Shiva ourselves and destroy our own 3 worlds because we are essentially a microcosm of Shiva. Shiva here being a representation of Brahman. So we must destroy our own 3 worlds and essentially become Shiva ourselves to see reality as it truly is. And it's one undifferentiated, unified state. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.